Morning. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. On behalf of Citizen Consumer and Civic Action Group, I am pleased to welcome you all for this online webinar on road safety in Tamil Nadu. As you know, India has 2% of world's motor vehicles, but contributes 10% of road accidents. In 2019 alone, around 1.5 lakh people were killed in road accidents across India. Not only this, do these accidents cause an irrepressible loss of human life, but are also responsible for a huge economic drain on our country. Tamil Nadu in the past has had a dubious distinction of being in the top two states in terms of road crashes and road crash fatalities. However, in the past few years, the state has made strides in reducing road crash fatalities in particular. In this webinar, we seek to understand how Tamil Nadu has tackled this unfortunate public health issue and the challenges faced by the government. So this webinar also aims to look at how key stakeholders from the government, civil society organizations, and general public can work together to build upon the success we have achieved. Before we begin the discussion, I request everyone to mute their microphone. During the meeting, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat window. If you would like to address the question to a specific speaker, please do indicate the same. The speakers will respond at the end. And today we have with us Thiru Pramod Kumar IPS, Inspector General of Police, Traffic and Road Safety Cell, who will give the keynote address. I welcome you, sir. We are pleased to have you in our midst. In spite of your busy schedule, you consented to be part of this webinar. I welcome all other members who have joined this meeting. And now I hand over to Sumana, who leads the work on road safety in CAG. She will be taking us through the overview of CAG's work on road safety. Over to you, Sumana.
Thank you, Harish. And good morning and welcome to everyone. And thank you for joining us today on this very important topic. And as Harish said, we all know the numbers on how we are faring in terms of road safety as a country. But the good news is also that Tamil Nadu seems to, as a state, be doing much better in the last couple of years. And let's hope that we continue to keep up this improvement and see that our road crash fatalities, injuries, and the road crashes overall come down even more in the years to come. I just wanted to briefly share a little about the work that CAG has been doing on road safety in the last couple of years before I hand over to our main speaker, who I'm sure everybody is wanting to listen to. But quickly, as I said, let me run through what we've been doing in the last few years. So briefly about CAG for those who may not be familiar with our work. We've been around for 35 years. We are based out of Chennai, but we work across Tamil Nadu. And as many of you may know, we work with a number of new various organizations and communities and people across the state. And we work on a number of areas. So road safety is one. Then we also work on solid waste management, on urban governance issues. We've been working with the Chennai Corporation, particularly on this in the recent past few years, to look towards making the city more zero waste, so reducing how much waste we generate as a community. Then we also work on electricity governance. Requesting everyone to just mute their mics, please. So yeah, so electricity governance is another area that we work on, and we also help citizens understand what are the problems that they're facing with their electricity bills, for example, and help them resolve that. Tell them what they can do, what they cannot do in terms of legally how they can work with the government to resolve any problems that they have. We also work towards understanding the EIA process and thermal power plants and the pollution that comes out of it and what that means for communities. And of course, we originally started with a much greater focus on purely consumer rights, but that work definitely continues. And we continue to support consumers and help them resolve any grievances that they may have or any problems that they may have. So these are some of the broad areas that we work on. And as I mentioned, road safety is also part of this. And within road safety for the past few years, our focus has been particularly around strengthening the law that we have, the Motor Vehicles Act, and from a road safety perspective, and also to look at how we can better support implementation and enforcement of the law. In particular, the focus has been on the risk factors of, not wearing helmets, seat belts, child restraints, and of course, drunk driving and speeding. These are some key risk factors which, if as a country we're able to tackle, it would make a big difference to the road safety situation in the country. And of course, we continue to do awareness on road rules and road safety. We've created a number of IEC materials around this and shared it. And we also work towards having engagement with different stakeholders so that we can build a public discourse and awareness on road safety and interaction, because this is not something that is only the purview of the government or any one person. All of us are involved, and we all need to be involved in how we discuss and take this forward as a country. So at the national level, we're part of the Road Safety Network. Some of our network members are also here today with us. And as a network, we work with the government on road safety. We give inputs on when the draft rules come out. We give our comments on these. We've been engaging with members of parliament, about road safety so that this issue is highlighted and taken note of at the highest levels. We collaborate, all of us together on awareness programs and with the government, of course. And we all keep use the social media to keep road safety in focus among the public as well. So at the state level, we've been having a lot of workshops and meetings around the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act to understand stakeholder perspectives. We had done a couple of years ago workshops in every district of the state in Tamil Nadu to understand what are the different perspectives and understandings on the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act. Then we've also provided on a number of rules or even on the Amendment Act itself, comments and inputs to the state government. We've conducted a number of surveys on pedestrian safety, on helmet and seatbelt compliance, we've looked at schools in Chennai and tried to see how safe the roads were around those schools. And the recommendations out of all of these have been shared with the state government. And we also, of course, work with schools and colleges to improve their awareness of road safety. And we've also worked with colleges to get them to comply, get the students and staff to recognize the importance of following helmet and seatbelt rules. And the colleges, there have been cases where the colleges have imposed the rule and to ensure compliance by their staff and students on helmets and seatbelts. So we've also sent a number of representations to the government. Recently, we had met the Home Secretary to request him to ensure that, in the movies and serials that, actors are required to wear helmets and seatbelts as in the appropriate scenes, because these have a great impact on the public and will reinforce that message when it comes from people, celebrities and well-known people. So we've also written to the movie actors, the Nadigar Sangam, and to the Producers Guild on these issues as well. And we've done a number of training workshops on road safety for several companies in and around Chennai. We've also worked with the Air Force, the Navy personnel in Arakonam in INS Rajali. And we've had a number of competitions for school children and colleges, college students, quizzes, mimes, debates, posters. So we've done a number of these kind of programs with them. And of course, we continue to engage with the media to share information and ensure that they are aware when government reports come out, and to keep that discussion around road safety in the public eye. So this is some of the material that we've recently produced. We've got a bilingual Tamil and English booklet on the road rules. It's not exhaustive. It doesn't cover all the road rules, but a fair number of them. And it's illustrated and it's available on our website. And we've also shared it with a number of groups and with the police as well here in the Chennai Traffic Police, as well as the Transport Department, and with Tamil Nadu Police as well. So these are the map at the bottom is from our website. Again, this is information on districts, on road safety at the district level that we have collected over the last couple of years. And this information has been shared in the form of infographics. So it's an interactive map. You can click on each district and you will get some key information about the road safety status of that district. We've also had a number of leaflets and social media posts, of course, very regularly, 3 to 4 times a week. We created a board game on road safety so people can, it's sort of a learning of the road rules as in a more interesting and interactive manner. And of course, a number of videos, including this video that I'm just going to try and play right now, which is an animated video that we created recently on on the risk factors that I was talking about earlier, which is speeding, drunk driving, and helmets in this case. So let me see if hopefully the video will play and you'll be able to hear as well. Just getting that started. So this the video is largely in Tamil, but I don't think. So just requesting everyone to kindly mute their microphone. Okay.
Summa not getting the audio.
Okay.
Harish,
not sure why that is happening.
Harish, can you play?
Yes, so yes, Saroja.
Please do.
Can I share the
Yeah,
screen?
go ahead. I'm just going to stop sharing.
Mr. Selvaraj, could you please mute your mic?
Microphone, please.
Thank you.
Harish, go ahead and play. You should be able to play now.
Okay. Can you see the screen, Sumana?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay.
I can't hear the sound again, Harish. You'll need to check the. Harish, sound.
Auntie, சும்மா அவனை ஹெல்மெட் போடு ஹெல்மெட்
Yeah,
போடு
now it's
வெறும்
coming.
பேசாதீங்க
Just play it from the
ஹெல்மெட்
start.
போட்டா கெத்து என்ன ஆகுது
முதல்ல மண்டை வந்துரும் கெட்டு போன வந்துரும் ஆனா மண்டை போன வருமா
This video is not playing.
I think there's a lag in the.
ரொம்பலாம் இல்லடா, படம் சப்பையா தான் இருந்துச்சு. சரி, அடுத்து என்ன பண்ணலாம்?
இதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு கட்டிங் தேவைடா.
ஹரிஷ்,
சரக்கடிக்கு போலாமா? மணி சூப்பர் ஐடியாடா.
இதை தவிர உங்களுக்கு பண்றதுக்கு வேற வேலையே இல்லையாடா? இப்படி தள்ளாடிட்டுலாம் வண்டி ஓட்டக்கூடாதுடா. பிடிச்சாங்கன்னா கம்பி எண்ண வேண்டியதுதான். நீங்க 2 பேரும் அங்கேயே ஓரமா வண்டியை விட்டு ஆட்டோல எதனா ஏறி போங்க. அதுதான் உங்களுக்கும் நல்லது, ரோட்ல போற மத்தவங்களுக்கும் நல்லது.
ராஜா,
Can you play that
வர
for
வர
me?
ரொம்ப விளக்கண்ண மாதிரி பேசுறடா. எங்களை மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் சரக்கடிக்க பழகு, அப்டேட் ஆயிடுவ.
Harish, please start from the beginning.
Faster.
Sorry, Sumana.
Can you play it from the beginning? Yeah, now we can hear.
Yeah.
Play it from the beginning. Apologies, everyone. Hopefully, it will work now.
இனிமே நான் நடக்கவே முடியாது. வீல் சேர்ல தான் இருப்பேன்னு டாக்டர் சொன்னாங்க. எனக்கு ஏன் இப்படி ஆச்சு? ஏன் தம்பி?
டேய், எங்கடா கிளம்பிட்டீங்க 3 பேரும்?
ஆண்டி, இன்னைக்கு என்ன நாள் தெரியும்ல? தலைவர் படம் ரிலீஸ் ஆகுது. இன்னைக்கு எங்க இருப்போம் உங்களுக்கே தெரியும்.
சரி, இந்த ஹெல்மெட் போட்டுட்டு போடா ராஜா.
ஆண்டி, சும்மா அவனை ஹெல்மெட் போடுன்னு வெறுப்பு ஏத்தாதீங்க. ஹெல்மெட்லாம் போட்டா எங்க கெத்து என்ன ஆகுறது?
முதல்ல மண்டை பத்திரம். கெட்டு போன வந்துரும், ஆனா மண்டை போன வருமா?
குமாரு, ரொம்பலாம் இல்லடா, படம் சப்பையா தான் இருந்துச்சு. சரி, அடுத்து என்ன பண்ணலாம்?
இதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு கட்டிங் தேவைடா. சரக்கடிக்கு போலாமா? மணி சூப்பர் ஐடியாடா.
இதை தவிர உங்களுக்கு பண்றதுக்கு வேற வேலையே இல்லையாடா? இப்படி தள்ளாடிட்டுலாம் வண்டி ஓட்டக்கூடாதுடா. பிடிச்சாங்கன்னா கம்பி எண்ண வேண்டியதுதான். நீங்க 2 பேரும் அங்கேயே ஓரமா வண்டியை விட்டு ஆட்டோல எதனா ஏறி போங்க. அதுதான் உங்களுக்கும் நல்லது, ரோட்ல போற மத்தவங்களுக்கும் நல்லது.
ராஜா, நீ வர வர ரொம்ப விளக்கண்ண மாதிரி பேசுறடா. எங்களை மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் சரக்கடிக்க பழகு, அப்டேட் ஆயிடுவ. குமாரே, ஸ்பீட் அப்படி ஃபாஸ்டா, சூப்பர் ஃபாஸ்டா. தம்பி, நமக்கு எல்லாமே ஒரே சூப்பர் ஸ்பீடு. வண்டி சும்மா காத்துல பறக்கணும்டா.
இந்தியாவில் சாலை விபத்துகளில் ஒவ்வொரு மணி நேரமும் 17 பேர் இறக்கின்றனர்.
Thanks, Harish. So, just finishing up on getting back to the presentation, and I hope you enjoyed that video. And we're happy to share that with anyone who, would find that useful in any of their awareness work or would like to use it anywhere. It's available on our website as well. So some of the other things that we've done recently in the last several years actually, has been also, of course, around the Road Safety Week and World Day of Remembrance, where we've had a number of events. These are from our stakeholder discussions across this state, which we had in every district. As you can see, we were privileged to have the honorable ministers, Mr. Pandyarajan and the Transport Minister, Mr. Vijay Bhaskar, join us. And the one where Mr. Vijay Bhaskar was able to join us was in Chennai, the final meeting, where we'd also honored some of the traffic police for the work that they do, recognizing how difficult and underappreciated their work is. Standing on our roads and trying to control all of us who drive so badly. So for that, we had invited some of the traffic police. And these are some of the various events, just a glance at some of the things that we've been doing. A rally on the Marina several years ago, Road Safety Week interventions. And then on the top is the Car Free Sunday at Besanagar Beach, where we put out this board game of road rules, and children would play on that. So you can read a road rule, and it's a snakes and ladder game. So where you learn the road rules simultaneously. Then we've had mime competition, as I mentioned before, and the central photo is one where we had friends from Alert NGO join us to talk about first aid and becoming a first respondent in the case of any medical emergency. And as I mentioned, a lot of this has been in collaboration with the transport and the police departments. So I wanted to quickly touch upon a survey that we recently did, which we thought we would share with everyone today. So we wanted to look at the level of compliance when it comes to helmet and seatbelt usage in Chennai. So we'd done something like this in 2017. So we thought it was time to do another one. And we just finished another survey this past week. So we thought it would be interesting to look at the numbers. So basically in both 2017 and now, we looked at 10 intersections in the city during peak hours, both morning and evening, and looked at the number of riders wearing or not wearing helmet. And this year we also added on looking at pillion riders to understand how many pillion riders are complying with the law. And of course, with seatbelts, looking at the drivers. And this year we added on front passengers as well to understand whether we've actually become more law-abiding as a city or not. In addition, this year we also did a perception survey of 1,000 road users, 500 two-wheeler users and 500 car users to understand what their take is on helmet and seatbelt use. Do they think it's important? Why is it important? Do they actually follow that law? And why do they think other people don't obey the law on helmets and seatbelts? So this is some of the results that we found. So we've tried to compare between the similar locations across the city. And you can see that the non-compliance when it comes to wearing helmet by riders seems to have dropped considerably, which is heartening to see. So more people in Chennai are being law-abiding when it comes to the helmet rule. So again, this is very rough numbers that we just start sharing right now because we haven't had time to do a deeper analysis, but we hope to put it together in a report and share it with everyone, and hopefully it will be useful. So we'd also chosen these intersections to try and get not just intersections which are very busy and see a lot of traffic, but also geographical spread, north, south, central Chennai. So we get a snapshot of the city. So you can see that non-compliance has come down. So more people are wearing helmets when they drive a two-wheeler. But with the pillion, we didn't have any data from 2017, but I think the 2021 data speaks for itself. In just these 6 signals, we saw extremely high levels of non-compliance. Basically, hardly anyone is wearing a helmet when they are riding pillion. Requesting the person who's annotating to kindly stop doing that. So you can see that there is a lot of non-compliance when it comes to pillion. And I think you will see that when we show the perception survey results, that there is a clear linkage on why that is. And in terms of the seatbelt, wearing seatbelt for drivers, again, compliance has improved. There is definitely more people wearing seatbelts when they drive a car, which is really, again, very heartening to see at these signals. Though, of course, there is a whole variation between 12% and 25% of non-compliance. But nevertheless, compared to 2017, there is a decrease in non-compliance. So that is really good. But again, with the front seat passenger, at least in these 4 places, there is a fairly high level of non-compliance. People in the front seat are not wearing seat belts. We still haven't understood why this one location seems to have better levels of compliance than the others. Hopefully, we'll be able to figure that out, or at least dig a little more into it. But the other interesting thing was observationally, when we did this study, we had volunteers at each intersection. They noticed that by and large, nobody in the back seat wore a seat belt. So backseat passengers were not wearing seat belts at all. Largely, it was the drivers and occasionally the front seat passengers. So the perception survey among two-wheeler riders, of course, pretty much everyone said that they wear a helmet. Whether that's true remains to be seen, but when we asked them, they said they would. And they all agreed largely that it protects you from getting injured. So at least there seems to be some level of awareness of why a helmet is important. And interestingly, so for most of these questions, for the benefits of wearing a helmet and what would make you wear a helmet, we'd given 1 or 2 examples and then said other in case they wanted to specify any other reason. So with what would make you wear a helmet, many people said higher penalties and more enforcement. So clearly, seeing a policeman and knowing that they can get caught and penalized is a great deterrent for a lot of people. So I think it's a strong case for looking at how we can improve our enforcement and also impose strong penalties to push people to obey the law. And when we asked them whether pillion riders needed to wear, a large majority said yes, but there was still a fair number of people who said no. So clearly, not everyone is getting that message that pillion riders are also required to wear a helmet, and it's equally important for their safety. And of course, when we asked why do they think that pillion riders don't wear, these were some of the various things that they thought might be reasons for not wearing a helmet. Similarly, with the seat belts, you had a large number of drivers saying yes, they wore a seat belt, and a few people who had said no, gave a bunch of different reasons for why they don't wear a helmet. They don't feel it's needed. They find it uncomfortable. They're just doing short distances, so they don't see the point of a seat belt. And but again, there was a fairly good awareness about the fact of what a seatbelt does for you, that it reduces the risk of serious injury, that it stops you from going headfirst into the windshield. There seemed to be a fair amount of awareness about that, which is good to see. And again, this was the response on what would make you wear a seatbelt. Again, penalties was one, and enforcement was another point made by a number of people. And when we asked them whether they knew whether all passengers should wear a seatbelt, many people said yes, but there was also a reasonable number who said no, that not all passengers. So clearly people think that only drivers need to wear a seatbelt. So perhaps, the next stage of our awareness program and enforcement also needs to factor this in to ensure people recognize that everybody in a car needs to be suitably wearing a seatbelt, or if they're a child restraint, as it may be. So, and finally, yes, why do people not wear seatbelts? I think it was just like a sort of laissez-faire attitude that people have, that it's not important and they can't be bothered, was the larger response that was got to that question. So we thought we'd just share these findings, which of our survey, which we just completed a couple of days ago, and we like I said, we will be putting it together in a report and sharing it with everyone, and we hope it will be useful and give us some food for thought on how to move forward further on, more awareness and enforcement, so that more people are compliant with the helmet and seatbelt norms. Thank you. Harish, over to you.
Thank you, Sumana. Thank you very much. Now I request our esteemed speaker, Thiru Pramod Kumar IPS. He is the Inspector General of Police, Traffic and Road Safety Cell, to share his valuable thoughts on how Tamil Nadu reduced road crash fatalities and crashes over the last few years, and have been recognized both by the Government of India for the last couple of years on improving road safety. Over to you, Pramod Kumar, sir. Hello. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know. 1 second. You give me. Okay. Yeah. 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 Please tell me.
So, we'd love to hear from you on, we know that Tamil Nadu has been doing a lot in the recent few years. So please do share with our participants on, how, what have been the challenges and what have been the measures taken, and what do you see going forward? Your thoughts on road safety from the enforcement perspective as one of the key agencies within the government.
Okay. Okay. Good morning to you all. So let me start first with the facts and figures, where we stand and what all we have done so far. Tamil Nadu, we have been collecting data about the road accidents in a structured manner from 2009. And when we go through the facts and figures from 2009 up to 2016, you will see that every year there has been an increase of accidents and accident related deaths by almost 1,000 every year. It was being added. This was the feature till 2016, when we had 17,218 deaths due to road accidents. The figure came down to 16,157 in 2017. That was a reduction of around 6.6%. In 2018, it came down to 12,216. That is a reduction by 23%. And in 2019, it came to 10,528, 13% reduction. And in the last year, the figure has come down to 8,060. That is from, if you compare the figures from 2016 to 2020, number of deaths related to road accidents, it has come down by 54%. Similarly, actually for the number of accidents also, you see, in 2016, total number, we had 71,000 accidents. Gradually, it has been reduced. And in 2020, we had in total 45,000 accidents, which covers both fatal and non-fatal accidents. Of course, 2-3 months we had a corona period when there was a lockdown. So even then, there has been a gradual decrease from 71,000 in 2016, 2017, 65,000, 18, 63,000, 2019, 57,000, and in the year 2020, 45,000 total accidents. These are the figures I am giving you so that you can appreciate where we were and where we are heading and what more is required to be done. If you take, I'm talking about Tamil Nadu only. So number of deaths per day in Tamil Nadu due to road accident. In 2016, we had 47 deaths every day. 17, it came down to 44. 2018 came to 33. 2019 to 29. And 2020, number of deaths per day came down to 22. So from 47, it came down to 22. So there was a goal fixed for us that by the year 2025, that is the Millennium Goal, that is Sustainable Development Goal fixed by UN, that in comparison to 2016, by 2025, number of deaths due to road accidents should be brought down by 50%. That is the goal given. We have brought it down by 54% in 2020, by 2020 itself. But what is the final goal? Final goal is to have zero death by 2030. That is the target fixed by the United Nations. But target which we have fixed for ourselves is that by 2025, we should move towards zero death due to road accidents. These are the targets, things which have been done, which have not been done, and things which we have to really aim at. Now, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So I am just trying to sensitize everybody about the work which have been done and the challenges which are ahead of us. Now let me tell you, this is what we have achieved. Of course, it has been commended, and twice the state of Tamil Nadu has been awarded as the best performing state in the field of road safety by Government of India. And of course, our effort has been applauded in every forum, including the international forums like World Bank. Now, what are the things ahead of us? What is the amount of kind of road we are having? We have got 66,000 kilometers of road. Out of that, 7% road belong to state highway and national highway. Out of 7% road, out of total accident, national highway and state highways contribute 37% of the accidents. This is one area of great concern, that 7% of the road accounts for 37% of the total accidents and total deaths. What is the reason for that? What more is required to be done? This is one area of concern. Now, another area of concern is, what is the age group of the people who are mostly dying in the road accidents, and what is the impact? 70% of the people who are dying in the road accident are in productive age group between 18 to 45. That is the age group where maximum number of people who are dying in the road accidents. These are the people who are heading the families. When we call that, when I said that 17,000 deaths took place, you have to multiply it by another three times all these figures, the number of persons who lost limbs or somehow became disabled. And when we say that, you must remember these are the number of families which are affected. So you must remember that one person from a family who dies, if he is a breadwinner, even if he is not a breadwinner, what is its impact, socio-economic impact? That is also one thing one must understand to appreciate why we should give top priority while walking on the road or driving a vehicle on the road, what all we should do. See, overall, if you take the figures into account, the impact on GDP of the road accident in the country 3.5% of the GDP. Every year, country has been losing. Overall, if you take the figures into account in the country, 1.5 lakhs people are dying every year in the country. And 4.5 lakhs people are becoming completely disabled due to road accidents. So 1.5 plus 4.5, it comes to 6 lakhs. 6 lakh people are going out of the mainstream of socio-economic life. And when I call 6 lakhs people, always try to understand these are 6 lakhs families. So when the situation is so grave, what all we are required to do, what all we should do, and what can be done, what the state has been doing, what is the role of the public, what is the role of a non-government organization, what all we have to do to ensure that lesser and lesser people lose their life due to road accidents. See, these are the facts and figures I have given you so that you understand. We have talked only about Chennai city so that you can understand what is the magnitude of the problem. Now I will tell you the few things where we can improve. The accidents, sometimes accidents are inevitable, they do take place. But before 2016, the attitude which we had developed, we thought that accidents are inevitable and it cannot be stopped. Numbers are bound to increase. Logics were being given. People used to say, better roads, it will lead to overspeeding, more prosperity, more people are having vehicles, increasing population. All these reasons were being given, saying that there is no possibility of reducing the number of accidents and consequent number of deaths. In 2016, it was thought that let us make an attempt, whether we succeed, we don't succeed, or whatever is the degree of success. Let us make an attempt to address all the regions which cause the accident and which results into deaths or disability. So when efforts were made, we are not very sure what all will be able to achieve, but the facts and figures show that we have achieved substantially. And what has been our approach? See, there are two things when we talk about road safety: prevention of road accidents, that is one aspect. Second is, if the accident takes place, should be done to minimize the damage, to save the life, minimize the degree of. These are two different facts. Hello? Hello?
Sir, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So now one thing is the prevention of accident. Prevention of accident, whole our idea is based on 5 each, what we call. First is education, which means awareness of the public, awareness of the road users, both the pedestrian and the vehicle users. What all efforts we are taking, I'll come back to that later. Second is engineering. Roads should be safer. We should have better roads. We should know where to locate the speed breakers or speed rumblers, signage, knowledge of the signage, where the main road, where the roads coming from the side are joining the main road, what all road furniture should be there. Then the engine, kind of vehicles we are having, and kind of drivers we are having. So these three. Now the next E is, of course, the emergency care. When we talk about emergency care, it comes after the accident takes place, what all can be done to minimize the impact of these accidents. When these 5 is engineering, education, enforcement, engine, and education. All these 5 is, for the first time, we started developing, since we had the data. So we started data-driven approach towards all these aspects to address the problems with respect to different departments. Engineering department, we know National Highways, State Highway, Roadways departments are there. They had the data and they used the data for the purpose of rectifying the road defects. identifying the black spots and rectifying it. Regarding the road, the engineering part, somebody else will speak. Similarly, the engine aspect, have better trained driver. We getting a driving license in this country had become very, very easy. Most of the driving schools did not have proper syllabus, proper trainer, proper system of examination. So efforts were taken to improve that. Enforcement, both by police and the transport department. The law, again, I'll come back to the figures, what all we have achieved in the field of enforcement. Then education, awareness. So then last there is the emergency care. So now, as far as the enforcement is concerned, of course, we have definitely strengthened our enforcement. But let me now tell you what are the regions which are causing the maximum number of accidents. The number one cause of accident is overspeeding. Second is drunken driving. Third is driving against the flow of the traffic. Fourth, overtaking from the wrong sides. These are the reasons for the accidents. The number of people who are the victims, pedestrian, cyclists. So these are the people who are the largest number as far as the victims are concerned. Now the area which one booked, of course, we have started enforcement. We are trying to enforce it as far as possible. But the areas which are require support from your side, from everybody, from NGO and everybody, is the creating awareness. Now I was going through the figures, and yesterday I had discussed of CAG. They said the compliance of helmet rule by pillion rider is almost nil. Now let me give you the facts and figures, even going into like here. What I want to share with you is that the facts and figures show that in last 5 years, when we started actually recording the data, we see that if a two-wheeler rider or pillion rider meets with an accident, if somebody has the helmet and somebody is not wearing the helmet, what is the percentage of the people who are using helmets? You'll be surprised to know the number of accidents we have analyzed. 60% of the people who were using the helmet, who had worn the helmet and had met an accident, had a better chance of survival than comparison to people who had not been putting on the helmet. Same figure applies to use of buckling of the seat belts, not only for the driver and the co-driver's seat passenger, even the rear seat passenger. Here also, at the rear seat passenger, we hardly find any compliance in either in city area or outside. So what I want everyone to do, insist that use helmet, it's for your safety. We know the kind of behavioral pattern we watch. When they see a policeman standing, they immediately put on the helmet, otherwise they hang it somewhere on the motorcycle. As far as the pillion rider is concerned, pillion rider has got no other safety. It requires equal degree of safety as the rider of the vehicle. But thing is that we are not aware of it. We have been trying to create awareness. Here the role of schools, colleges, parents, everybody comes into play. And so far we had some good response, but still the response is not up to the mark. Now, even though we have the road safety clubs, we have started in every government and semi-government schools, and we are trying to cover every school, not only government and semi-government schools. We are trying to cover every school. The role of the parents, the role of the platform of Parents Teachers Association is of very high significance, and people should come forward to take up the responsibility. Another area where the Parents Teachers Association can play a role is the juvenile driving. Juvenile driving in Chennai city alone, every year 60 to 70 school children are dying because the parents are irresponsible, to say the least. They hand over the key of the motorcycles or sometimes even two-wheelers to school children, to the children below 18 years of age who do not have a stable mind, and they start driving on the roads, and they are not able to handle the vehicles. They cause injury to themselves, and they endanger others' lives also. So the parents of the children, they should be responsible, even though we have the provision of registering cases against the parents. So of course, that is only a different aspect. Registering cases and you are able to pay the fine, that is only very a smaller part of the whole enforcement drive. Thing that you should understand that when you allow and we do not control your children, and you allow them to drive motorcycle for fun or the four-wheeler for fun, you are not only endangering others' lives, you are endangering your own child's life. So parents, teachers, they should understand and try to understand that it is not safe either for themselves or for others. So at no cost, they should allow underage driving. And as far as the police is concerned, we are going to come down very heavily. Obviously, the law says that parents should be punished, and we'll have no hesitation in initiating proceedings, criminal proceeding against the parents. So last 2-3 years figures I have seen for Chennai city alone, more than 60 children have been dying on the road because of underage driving. I have initiated the proceeding against all the parents, and due course you will see the results. And but that is initiating proceeding only one aspect. Thing is that you should be able to understand what all you should do, what all you should not do.
Sir, you're muted.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what all at what point I got muted?
Sir, 60 to 70 children were killed in road crashes.
That is,
and
that
proceedings.
Yes. Okay, so 60 to 70 children every year in Chennai city alone are meeting with accident, and they met with deaths also because of the underage driving, because their parents acted in completely irresponsible manner and have allowed the children to take away the vehicles, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, and they have met with an accident. And not only that, they cause injury to themselves, or sometimes children have died also. They have caused injury to others also. So the parents teachers association in the schools, they should take up this responsibility and ensure that underage driving is curbed. As far as initiating action against the parents are concerned, Motor Vehicle Act itself provides that if somebody is found in violation of a juvenile driving provision, then the parents of the children should be fined and should be penalized. Of course, I can assure you, we are going to initiate action against the parents in every case, and we will make them pay. But more than that, they should understand it's not safe for their own child, and it's of course not safe for others. So for the sake of the safety of their own child, the parents should come forward and ensure that there is no violation of Juvenile Driving Act. These are the few things I thought I will share with you. Then, of course, we have got this thing. Enforcement itself has become highly tech savvy. We have got highway patrols, highway patrol vehicles, which you see on the roads. Every 50 kilometer, police has got one highway patrol vehicle. Different numbers are displayed on that. One is the one number you will find that emergency care number is there. The other number, see, highway patrol vehicle, its responsibility is to, if in case of accident, it should pick up the victims and it should bring it to the nearest hospital. Then there is a trauma care number also. So now everything is integrated. When I say the data-driven integrated approach, which has led us to this result, further improvement on the same pattern will bring us better and better result. Now the integrated approach is, the minute an accident takes place, police gets emergency care, the police vehicle starts moving towards the accident spot. Simultaneously, the ambulance also starts moving towards the accident spot. Police takes care of the investigation and regulation of the traffic. Ambulance takes care of the victims. Before ambulance leaves the spot, informs the nearest trauma care that they are bringing a victim of the road accident, condition of the victim, so that the hospital can get ready to receive the injured person and provide further medical treatment at the earliest possible time. Since all these things are integrated and coordinated, when you see that what was the response time in 2016, you will be surprised that one ambulance from one place to another on the highways and national highways and state highways and major district road, response time was 32 minutes. It has come down to now 13 minutes. So you can think, and these are GPS guided Chennai city and all that. So see, now response time itself of the ambulance has reduced because using this data, since we have the data, so we have used the data to map the ambulance. The places where maximum accidents are taking place, ambulances are placed nearer to that place. So the response time is lesser and lesser. And since this is integrated approach to police, ambulance services, trauma care center, super specialty hospital, all these things are interlinked. So the response time is much lesser. It has become much lesser, and it has helped us in saving several lives because victims are able to get treatment during the golden hour. The golden hour to concept and our effort to improve our response, police response of the emergency care units, response of the trauma care centers, response of the ambulance. Since everything is improving, it has helped us in reducing the deaths due to road accident, reducing the accident victims. So when you see the figures from 17,000, we have brought down the figure to 8,000 deaths. And similarly, number of accidents have also come down. So there has been concentrated, coordinated, integrated approach between among the different stakeholders, all 5 E stakeholders: care, education, enforcement, engine. So all these departments like highways, transport, health department, police department, all this integrated approach has actually helped us in getting better result. Otherwise also, even though we have achieved a figure of 8,000 deaths, I mean from 17,000 it has been brought down to 8,000 in 1 year. Still this even 8,000 deaths plus another 25,000 people getting injured. So 33,000 families being affected every year. So even then it's not a very happy situation. Our aim should be that you should not fear the roads. So we have to aim for zero accident, even though it may look like an impossibility. But even in 2016, even reduction of road accidents, reduction of road deaths, even by 5% looked impossible. So where we are today, we have to make and keep on innovating the ways and means to reduce the accidents, and if the accident takes place, to reduce the impact of the accident. So where all of you can contribute is first and foremost, you yourself should be a better example. I've been telling at different government forums also, I find a lot of government servants not using the helmets. Some surprise checks were conducted in some collectorates in Namakkal and some other places. We found that the collected staff, about 60, 70 people came without helmet. So see, forget not only government staff, everyone who is hearing, everyone with whom you get in touch, small things like helmet, use of seat belt, use of helmet by pillion rider as well, use of seat belt by rear seat passengers as well. Please try to understand, in case, even if you meet with an accident, if you simple thing like use of helmet and seat belt, your chances of survival will increase by 60 to 70%, which is huge number. The kind of, not only, so these are very, very small things which you must do. Second thing is causing awareness not only among yourself, among your family members, ensuring that your own family members, they don't violate any of these traffic laws. These traffic laws are meant for your own safety. It is not for the police. The minute you see the police, you put on the helmet, then you start wearing the helmet and looking here and there. And then the police starts this thing, issuing the challan to you. You use all the methods to escape this. These things are not necessary. So my suggestion and my request to all of you will be, where you can contribute in a major way, is creating the awareness. Small things, use helmet, don't drink and drive. If you are drinking, then don't drive. Some of you, if you have to drink, then use taxi. Use helmet for plea and rider, insist upon. Don't allow your child to drive the motorcycle or four-wheeler just for fun, just for enjoyment, just because you can afford it. Because ultimate cost could be too much for you, for anybody and everybody to bear. So these are the few things I just wanted to share with you. And I'll be happy if somebody wants to ask any question, I'll be happy to answer that. So, but this is not only for Chennai city. We have got, we are taking care of the whole state. So we are trying to improve. We have achieved a substantial result, and further we have to keep on improving. Any suggestion from anybody is welcome. So during this month, today is the last day of the road safety month. So I request all of you that road safety does not end with a month or week. It continues every day, every moment, the minute you walk out on the road. So please try to be safe, try to make others safe, and try to understand that there is no looking back. If you meet with an accident, whole family gets destroyed. So make yourself safe, ensure that others are safe in your company, whether you are a driver or pedestrian or whatever you are, or you are two-wheeler rider or four-wheeler rider, or in whatever capacity you are on the road. So these are the few things I thought I will share with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your deep, enlightening words. It will have an impact on many of us, and we would be, as you mentioned, an example to others who would also like to follow road safety, road safety and safety laws. And thank you, sir, for talking about the approach that you used, or the government of Tamil Nadu adopted to reduce road crashes, and you gave us the methodology of how the response time for transporting road crash victims were reduced considerably. And we also gave us food for thought on how we could, as NGOs and as public, how we could leverage parent-teacher associations to bring awareness to parents to control juvenile riding. And thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We'll sure remember your words and follow the road safety laws. Now, the forum is open for question and answers. Questions. Anyone with questions may ask.
I think Mr. Jayaraman has raised his hand.
Yeah, Jayaraman sir.
Jayaraman sir, நீங்க unmute பண்ணி பேசுங்க. Okay, anybody else who would has any comment or question to our guest?
Yes, Sumana, can I go?
Yeah,
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon all firstly. Sir, I would like to raise a question to our IGP sir, Mr. Pramod Kumar IPS, sorry. Sir.
Why don't you ask your question?
Yeah, okay then. Yeah, so thank you for the talk, sir. Your talk was very well created. I understand the awareness and responsibility as a common man. So my question is, so sometime back I read in the media about this new Motor Vehicles Act 2019. So one point struck me was the increased fines for speeding the vehicle, or a drunken drive, or not wearing helmet. It was actually a nice part of the nice rule of the act, and that will definitely ensure compliance, and people will definitely obey to the rule, because at least because of this increased fines. So my question is, why this has not been implemented in Tamil Nadu, sir? Like, why has not it been implemented yet? I would like to know about that, sir.
We are waiting for the notification from the state government.
Okay.
It is required to be notified by the state government. We are waiting for the notification. It's in the process. Legal opinion being obtained. We are waiting for the notification. Very shortly we'll have it.
All
Yesterday
right.
also we had a meeting in this regard. So it's in the process.
All right. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirtana. Anybody else? Jayaraman sir, do you wish to ask a question or give some comment? Mr. Jayaraman? இருக்கீங்களாங்க?
Jayaraman is not there.
Okay. Anybody else then, sir? Anybody else wishes to add anything or ask a question?
Actually, I would like to talk on this subject. Give a comment on whatever the IG police have said.
Sir, ஒரே ஒரு செகண்ட். he's sharing some thoughts. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஜெயராமன் சார் நீங்க அதுக்கப்புறம் you can add. Sorry, அவர் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டாரு. Please go ahead, sir.
Actually, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir. கொஞ்சம் faint-ஆ இருக்கு, but you are audible.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Actually, the government is taking in its power all that is possible. Many times what happens is this awareness, even though lot of awareness is being given, when it comes to the implementation, we have less number of police officers to go for this. So I will suggest in some states, some places, they are actually doing. I am actually from an IB perspective, I am talking about Intelligence Bureau. I was an IG of police before I came to Coimbatore. In Coimbatore, there is a beautiful arrangement our commissioner has made. Nice place is there. People are going and making use of that. And number of more people have to make use of that, especially children. Because children, once when they are told, and then they will act on that. 50% of them will act on it. Adults say, however you may tell, they'll just see left and right. If policeman is not there, they'll go without the helmet. Such things, we have to strengthen the policeman on the beat by school children, especially this 10th and 11th students. They can come there and then help the police officers in booking these fellows. That is what is my humble suggestion. And I wish to thank IG, who has taken so many actions. And our Tamil Nadu has come first in the whole of India. Congratulations once again, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your talk. Pramod Kumar, sir, do you wish to add anything to that?
No, just the same thing what Mr. Jayaraman said. See, we have the system of traffic wardens. And those who are willing to, they can contact the local commissioner of police, deputy commissioner of police in their city, or the superintendent of police in their area, in their district. and they can make their services available to the police. This is the one aspect. As far as the thing, of course, number of policemen, it's not so easy to increase. You understand? So it has got a huge this thing, economic implication and all that. We can't increase the number of policemen overnight. So what we can do, we can have this traffic warden system. We have in place, and even roads are there. Roads, see, the school children, college children, they can get in touch with the local police officer, the deputy commissioner of police, traffic in cities, and in districts, superintendent of police. We have this system. Another thing which we are coming forward, but it will take its own time, is the contactless enforcement of traffic laws. So like Trichy city, we have started it, and other 3 cities we are going to start, Coimbatore, Madurai, and Salem very soon. That is integrated traffic management system. I'm just sharing the information. So it will have contactless enforcement of the laws. There will be cameras, NPR cameras, which will find out this thing valid, those who are violating the traffic law, and each challenge will be issued automatically. So no, one thing is that there will be certainty of punishment, and once they know that if you commit a mistake, there is no way to escape from it. That will also improve the situation, and I definitely hope that these 4 cities will be able to cover in 6 months' time. So contactless enforcement of traffic law, it will go a long way. And of course, any volunteer, whoever wants to come and help the police, they are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I'm sure, especially as you mentioned, our resources with the police force is quite stretched thin. So we obviously need to look at how we can bolster our enforcement in different ways. Anybody else who would like to say anything? Any questions, comments? The floor is open.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Hello. Please.
Hello. I'm Somasundaram. Yes, audible, sir. Hello.
Hello, yeah.
Hello. It's your permission. Hello.
Say again.
Clear, hello, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Am I clear?
Actually, as per Kumta.
All that
Hello.
I want is, hello. Many volunteers from the public, as the IG has mentioned, should be encouraged to join. In addition to that, the school children, some of the smart children from each and every school, they can take and give us assistance to our state traffic police. This will go a long way in helping the administration and enforcement of the rules and regulations. That we have made it for the benefit of the public. This is what I wish to suggest. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Somasundaram, sir, Nigado Solo Vandinga, please share. Go ahead.
I was just a doctor.
Actually, hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Yes.
Requesting
sir, actually in
kindly keep the mic. Somasundaram, sir, solunga.
I am telling now. You see,
actually, sir.
And the implementation stage, we are finding lot of vacancies are not filled, and we don't have enough of policemen to enforce the whole laws and regulations relating to the safety measures. So I request school students, some of the bright students from each school, at least 5, 6, can be recruited nearer to their school. They can come and help the traffic police officers. This is my suggestion. Hello?
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
Sir,
requesting
sir, good
everyone to
good
சொல்லுங்க
afternoon.
sir. சொல்லுங்க.
Yeah.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. I'm Somasundaram. Actually, there are Hello.
Please tell me.
No, requesting everybody else to kindly mute their
There is a
microphone.
Hello.
Mr. Somasundaram, please go
Hello.
ahead. சொல்லுங்க sir.
Actually, there are lot of these street vendors are occupying the more space in the buses and the crossings and everywhere. There is some space reservations are with the corporation in every gated community and other things. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. சொல்லுங்க. Somasundaram sir, please go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
கேக்குறது sir, சொல்லுங்க. You are muted now. Please unmute.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead. இல்ல உங்களுக்கு அது சவுண்ட் எதுவா இல்லனா chat boxல டைப் பண்ணுங்க சார்.
இல்ல எனக்கு இப்ப கேக்குது மேடம். இப்ப கேக்குதா?
சொல்லுங்க.
இப்ப கேக்குதா நான் பேசுறது?
கேக்குது சொல்லுங்க.
ஆக்சுவலா வந்து கார்ப்பரேஷன் வந்து இந்த ஒவ்வொரு மல்டி ஸ்டோரேஜ் காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் கேட்டட் கம்யூனிட்டி எல்லாம் வரும்போது ரிசர்வேஷன் ஸ்பேஸ் இருக்குது. Whereas the street vendors are occupying mostly in the platforms and other bus stops and other places. They can be taken, mobilized, and they can be taken to that reserved spaces, which is now under the control of the Chennai Corporation, so that there won't be any. Normally, all the pedestrians are walking in most of the North Chennai, so that the corporation has to, in coordination with police, they can accommodate them in the reserved spaces, and instead they are kept idle. I don't. This is my suggestion, so some pedestrians can be taken care of. Otherwise, some percentage of accidents can be avoided because they are walking in the road only instead of platform.
Correct, sir. Thank you for that suggestion. Sir, please go ahead.
I'll just respond to. See, we are aware of this problem. Encroachment of the road, it's a big problem in city. And some of the places, even permanent structures have come up. So the removal of encroachment, it's of course on our priority, and we are aware of the fact that it needs to be done, and earlier than better. Then second aspect where we are trying to address, you know that Chennai city is one of the cities selected as a smart city. It is to be developed. Is the problem of parking. That motorable road width is being used for the parking purposes. So that is already under the consideration that we will have a system of paid parking, half paid parking, or free parking, all those kind of things. So that road space is available for the vehicle users, and pedestrian walkways, all these things can be made. And it will further add to our road safety measures. It's one of the major things which we are targeting in all these corporation cities, big cities like Chennai, Coimbatore, Madurai, and all that. Removal of encroachment and have better parking system so that road width is available for road users. These problems are, of course, in our, we are aware of it, and we are trying to take whatever needs to be done. Thank you.
Because in most of the roads, there are corporation reservation spaces are there, sir. They can better utilize by moving those street vendors to that place, so that they will be having hygienic selling and other things also. Enforcement will also be better. Instead of doing their business in the platform, in both sides it will be better. Is keeping ideal of that corporation space reservation and other things. These pedestrian are walking in the roads. These things can be easily sorted out by making alternate. As for Kumta also, there are a lot of viabilities are there for such of those things, sir.
Thank you
Thank you,
for
sir.
that suggestion, sir. I'm sure. they
சுமனா
will-
மேடம் நான் பேசலாமா?
Please, sir. Please go ahead. Yes. சொல்லுங்க
ஜெயராம்
sir.
பேசலாமா?
Please go ahead.
I got ஒரு 10 பாயிண்ட் சொல்லிடுறேன். அப்புறம் கடைசியா வந்து I would like to get the reply from the IG of police. First of all, I should thank you, CAG and the Commissioner of Police for inviting us for the meeting. Point number one is, we have been collecting considerable amount of penalty from the road users and the offenders. And unfortunately, the signals in most of the places, including mostly in Coimbatore also, like Madurai and other Trichy places, most of the signals do not burn proper light. Only one single light will be there. The amount of, when we ask them, they say we don't have adequate funds for that. Even the funds allocated or funds received by way of penalty can be used for the replacement of bulbs. And the drunken driving and underage student driving is a perennial problem in many places. As far as the drunken driving is concerned, I have already suggested few years back at Chennai. The moment you catch hold of a person who has drunk and driving, he's paying the money and driving the vehicle. That means he's going to go and hit somebody after the paying the money in the intoxicated mood. Instead, we can impound the vehicle and ask them to go by taxi or auto rickshaw. We can keep a dozen of taxis and auto rickshaw near the TASMAC bar itself. This can be tried so that the next day when they go and the vehicles are impounded in front of the spot fine area, the family members will also be definitely objecting why you have drunken and why you have made a drunken driving, and because of that your vehicle has been impounded. This will definitely reduce the number of accidents and offenders also. And the traffic advisory committee, I'm very painful to tell you, in Coimbatore, it has been not effectively functioning, or it has not been constituted. It has to be given on a rotation basis, sir. And even for the traffic awareness programs, usually previously we used to be invited as NGOs. We don't want to go into the financial implications. Even for conducting the programs and other things, we would appreciate them to invite the consumer organization who are doing voluntary job. Unfortunately, for the past few years, only through paper we are seeing that the transport department is conducting or having the meeting or arranging programs for the public. So the road safety program, definitely the VCOs should be involved by taking their advice. In fact, we have a dozen of slides mentioning the various ways in which the road accident can be avoided. And we have a quiz program also being conducted wherever invited by the schools to reduce the number of accidents, titled called My Accident Free City. And the designing of the traffic islands and maybe used the civil engineering students in various places like Coimbatore, Madras, or Madurai. The architect students should also be used in. They are prepared to do a commendable job. They should be definitely used. And the sun film paper that has been stuck in cars and other things, it has become a fancy. Once you see a vehicle with the sun film, with a fancy number, they think they should be definitely continuously booked. Only for a season they are booked, they are penalized, and they are allowed to go. After 3 months, they come with another sticker and go away. If it is properly screened, even the Pollachi incident could have been, could have been handled in a better way. It could have been controlled also. And the dangerous curves and the speed breakers have become the spine breakers. The straightening of the road should be definitely given a priority. And one of the major reason for the accident is potholes in various roads. We are talking about smart city, but unfortunately, it can be first should be a neat city without potholes. That should be given a top priority. I'm not criticizing. I'm only putting the difficulties faced by the public. And many places, the opposite bus stops are to be removed. We have a buses standing in the opposite same sides. One on the left side, on the same position, diagonally on the opposite side is very risky one. And the roadside parking of vehicles should be definitely called for penalty. I think now in Bangalore and Mysore, they have going to charge about 2,000 rupees every month or every time when they find the cars and other things are parked on the main road. And definitely the reflectors should be properly put in all the areas like the bridges or flyovers. I have seen about few months ago, even in Kattipara, one of the world best designed bridges, the indicators are not properly provided over there. And the panic driving of the bike race at midnight should be definitely banned. Definitely, the youngsters should be pulled up. The vehicle should be impounded. As the commissioner was telling, we welcome. They should be even go to the extent of filing criminal case against the parents and also the particular students also. And in the case of the children driving the vehicle, especially in schools and other places, education institutions below the permitted age, the vehicle should be impounded. The key should be handed over to them. Let the parent come there, give an apology letter and pay heavy penalty, and then take the vehicle as a first and final warning. Next time, if the same thing is done, definitely the TC should be given and the boy should be given a very ceremonial send-off. And these are all the points I would like to have the reply or acknowledgement from that. Main point is the road safety and the traffic advisory committee in Coimbatore has not been convened or reconstituted for months or years together. We would like to be involved, being a retired people from various positions. Our IG of police is our commitment, is our member from Coimbatore. We have an advisory member in our Citizens Voice Club Coimbatore, a former joint transport commissioner, Sivasubramaniam, is also in our team of the voluntary work. We are prepared to help you. It is for you to take up our assistance or help or counseling team for the betterment of the state and the police department. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jayaraman. Thank you, Mr. Jayaraman. I have noted
Yes, sir.
And one by one, let me answer because you have raised too many points at one time. So anyway, as far as the driving by juveniles is concerned, as per the new Motor Vehicle Act 2019, the punishment for the parents is 25,000 rupees for first incidence. So we are going to implement this, and it's on my priority. And first time we will do for Chennai City. I have called for the list. Second thing is for racing on the roads by basically college-going students. This problem was there basically in ECR Road in Chennai. So where 2 days back only we have started. It was inaugurated by the Honorable Minister for Road Transport Highway, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, and our Honorable Chief Minister. There's the automatic the detection of overspeeding vehicles. These are all the measures which we have taken, and of course, in due course, we have started road safety patrol also that is beside the highway patrol for 65 kilometers from Akkare to Mahabalipuram Road on this road. So this is the second thing I thought I would just inform everybody. And as far the district road safety council is concerned or traffic advisory council is concerned, every district has got it, and every 3 months this council are supposed to meet. Members are supposed to meet. It is under the chairmanship of the district collector in all the districts. So, and NGOs and anybody who is interested in giving advice, they are most welcome to do it. They can. And if you have got any difficulty, you can send me the mail. I will send it to the collector. And every quarter, they are supposed to hold meeting and send the proceedings to us regarding the suggestion and advice to improve not only the traffic regulation, but the safety on the road. See, earlier, the whole effort was about traffic regulation, people were talking. But now, beside traffic regulation, what is more important, the roads should be safe. Even if you see traffic regulation can cause you a delay of 30 minutes, 40 minutes, maybe 1 hour. It may be very irritating, agitating, but safety is more important, better late than never kind of concept. So I am always insisting upon safer road, even if it comes at the cost of reducing the speed. So that is now the priority is the safety of the road, not the regulation of the traffic at a higher speed. So now there is change, a little bit change in the priority. As far as your part, you want to be the part of Road Safety Council, you can definitely approach the district collector Coimbatore, and I don't think there should be any difficulty. If there is any difficulty, you can send me a mail. Accordingly, from the headquarters, we will take care of the issue. And every quarter, this meeting is supposed to be held, and they are supposed to send the proceeding of the meeting. And this, another point which you said about the fine amount being collected and to be reused for the purpose of road safety and improving the regulation of the traffic. Let me tell you that fine amount being collected is around 110 crores every year in the state.
Yeah.
And there is already a road safety fund out of these fine amounts, which is being again paid back for the road safety measures and traffic regulation measure. You will be finding new signages, paintings, cones, traffic reflector cones, reflector jackets. Now you would have seen in Coimbatore new reflector jackets, the breath analyzer. We are giving a body on cameras, speed radar gun. All the things are being purchased from this. So this is already in the process. Then another issue which you said that traffic signals in Coimbatore not working. So unfortunately, what you are saying is absolutely correct. I have received the letter from the Commissioner of Police, Coimbatore City, and he said that most of the 14, 15 signals he said needs to be replaced. Money has been sanctioned, and I think another one month time or 2 months time, all these things should become functional. I have also said that the earlier practice of allowing the local business establishment. Hello. So hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So another issue which I have.
Yes, sir. I'm hearing, sir.
Yeah, another issue which we have discussed, and we were in the process of disallowing and discontinuing the practice which was there earlier of allowing the local business establishment and businessmen to sponsor the traffic signals. You have seen, you would have seen in Coimbatore city itself, different some textile company, some jewelry company, and some jewelry shops. You will be finding advertisement on signal boards.
Yeah, sponsors.
Sponsors. So those things I said has to be discontinued. All the traffic signals will be purchased and installed by the government, will be owned by the government and maintained by the government. There is no need to have a sponsor for traffic signals. Government has got sufficient money.
Funds for that.
Yeah, funds for that, and we don't require local businessman or anybody else to sponsor it. So in the process, the Coimbatore city has already money has been sanctioned, and I think 1 or 2 months you should see all these traffic signals operative. So whatever problems are there.
Speed breakers and spine breakers, potholes.
Speed breakers, in city areas, we have said that those kinds of
speed breakers and the spine breakers, potholes.
Speed breakers, kind of speed breakers we are used to are definitely leading to accidents also. So what we have said that speed breakers shall be replaced by rumblers. Idea is to reduce the speed, not that you come with a high speed and meet with an accident. So several speed breakers where it has not been properly created. So what happens that people coming with high speed are meeting with an accident. So speed breakers shall be removed, and we'll have rumblers kind of thing spread over maybe 10 meters, 15 meters on particular junctions. So that idea is to reduce the speed so that you can take your breath and drive safely. So these kind of things we are actively involved and keep on thinking. We have got our own consultant. We keep on getting message. We keep on getting.
Hello.
Yes. Are you getting me?
Yeah, now I am getting. Now I get him, sir.
So what I am saying that we have got our own consultants. We have got a lot of people who keep on advising us, and we keep all these suggestions. We take all these suggestions in the right spirit, and we try to implement it as far as possible. So we have.
Sir, shall I have your email ID, sir? Shall I have your email ID, please, sir? Official email ID.
This is ADGP STPC.
ADGP.
STPC. S. Sinla. STPC@gmail.com.
Okay, I think 2 points you have. Can I remind you, sir? The speed breakers and are now given a fancy in front of very influential people. Many places, the speed breakers are laid by designed by them without the adhering to the norms of the road safety program, road safety and the vehicle users. They by influence by hook or hook they put some speed breakers without even indication that there is a speed breakers that ultimately become the spine breakers. And many areas, the potholes, of course, it doesn't come directly under your control. Definitely, you can take up with the matter with the corporation people and highways people and the and it should be periodically, it's obligation on the part of the authorities to fill the potholes and see that the roads are motorable, sir. And the bus stops are being designed opposite sides. That's very, very risky.
All the issues, Mr. Jayaraman, please be the part of the district road safety council and attend the meeting and give your suggestion forward, because these things have to be required to be addressed by the local administration. And so please be in touch with the local police commissioner and the local district collector, your Coimbatore district collector, who is the chairman of the committee. And every fortnight, every quarter, they are required to hold meeting and send a procedure. Please send your letter to them that you want to be the part of the district road safety council, and take active part in it, make suggestions. And I'm sure a lot of things will come through, because these are things which doesn't require much of money. So what we require is a little bit of willpower to do it. I'm sure it can be done.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your patient giving a reply in a very detailed reply. I will write to you and get your help also in this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jayaraman. And thank you, Pramod Kumar sir, for that detailed and reply on all the points raised by various people. And so I think we're running slightly over time, and so let me have the privilege of thanking everyone, all the participants for joining and staying with us and being so involved in this discussion. And but most important, our speaker, Mr. Pramod Kumar from the Tamil Nadu Police, who had kindly agreed as soon as we asked him to come and join us today, and who has given us a fair amount of his valuable time today to talk about what the state has done and what we've achieved going forward in road safety, and also what more needs to be done. As he'd mentioned to us when we met him, this is something that we cannot, as a state, just relax and say we've done a good job and pat ourselves on the back. This is something that we need to keep working on constantly. And any relaxation in this will mean the numbers will, increase and it will look worse. So, we are very thankful for the efforts of the police and the state government and their continued focus on road safety. And I'm sure all of us here from NGOs or even as individual citizens are ready to support and work with the government in any fashion that we can. And we hope that we get that opportunity, whether it be at Chennai or, across the districts, across the state. So we look forward to that collaboration and working together to what Sir said as a vision zero, to working towards zero accidents and zero deaths in Tamil Nadu, and ultimately someday, hopefully in India as well. So thank you again, everyone. And thank you, sir, for taking so much time off and joining us and sharing your thoughts and sharing all that information with us. It was really useful, and we look forward to continued interaction and collaboration with you. Thank you.